Hello everyone, this is RuneSnow, and today I will be going over some new cards from Magic. The Gathering set, Duskmourn House of Horror, which is set be released September 27th. So, let's look at some cards that we know of so far. The first card is Overlord of the Hauntwoods, where, as you can see, they are the same image with one being a fracture foil. The card says, whenever Overlord of the Hauntwoods enters or attacks, create a tapped colorless land token named Everywhere, that is every basic land type. Then we have Enduring Tenacity with its fractal foil as well, and the card says for 2 colorless and 2 black. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. When Enduring Tenacity dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment. Then we have the card Chainsaw, showing 2 versions of the card, with the card stating when Chainsaw enters, it deals 3 damage to up to 1 target creature. Whenever 1 or more creatures die, put a rev counter on Chainsaw. Equipped creature gets plus X plus 0, where X is the number of rev counters on Chainsaw. Then we have 2 other versions of Enduring Tenacity, with one being a regular and the other being a full art card. Next, we have 3 versions of the Wandering Rescuer, a regular, a foil, and a textured which says Flash, Double Strike. Other tapped creatures you control have hexproof. Then we have Layline of Hope, which is nice to see them bring back another Layline card. This enchantment says, if Layline of Hope is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. If you would gain life, you gain that much life, plus 1 instead. As long as you have at least 7 life more than your starting life total, creatures you control get plus 2 plus 2. Then we have the Artifact Cursed Recording. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a time counter on Cursed Recording. Then, if there are 7 or more time counters on it, remove those counters and it deals 20 damage to you. Tap. When you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Next, we have 2 versions of the card, Come Back Wrong, which has the text, Destroy Target Creature. If a creature card is put into a graveyard this way, return it to the battlefield under your control. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. Again, we have 2 versions of the card, Toby Beasty Befriender. This legendary human wizard card goes by, when Toby Beasty Befriender enters, create a 4/4 white beast creature token with. This creature can't attack or block alone. As long as you control 4 or more creature tokens you control have flying. Then we have the card Nowhere to Run. This enchantment card with Flash, I can already seeing being an annoying card. This card states, when Nowhere to Run enters, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Creatures your opponents control can be the targets of spells and abilities as though they didn't have hexproof. Ward abilities of those creatures don't trigger. Next is Fear of Missing Out, which has the text, when Fear of Missing Out enters, discard a card, then draw a card. With the Delirium cost, whenever Fear of Missing Out attacks for the first time each turn, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, untap target creature. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Then we have 2 versions of the card Overlord of the Hauntwoods that costs 5, which says, whenever Overlord of the Hauntwoods enters or attacks, create a tapped colorless land token named Everywhere. That is every basic land type that has a impending 4 cost. Then, we have extremely powerful black card that costs 6 Doomsday Excruciator. This demon card says, when Doomsday Excruciator enters, if it was cast, each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards of their library face down. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card. Next is 2 versions of the card Screaming Nemesis. This card, having haste, and whenever Screaming Nemesis is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. With the card Twitching Doll we have, tap, add 1 mana of any color, put a nest counter on Twitching Doll, then tap, sacrifice. Twitching Doll, create a 2/2 green spider creature, token with reach for each counter on Twitching Doll. Activate only as a sorcery. Lastly, we have 5 basic lands cards from this set. The source for these cards are from Wizards of the Coast, and I look forward to see what else will be revealed in the future. So I hope everyone has a good day and a good night.